All right, so now let's talk about the grid. The grid is found under View, Show Grid. Then we're going to have Snap to Grid. And we're also going to use our preferences to access certain things about the grid. So if we go to Guides and Grid, we will access this area right here. So if I go to View, Show Grid, and the shortcut is the Command apostrophe or Control apostrophe on a PC, I will display the grids. I'm going to zoom in this corner right here, and then I'm going to hold my spacebar to move this down. And I want to show you what we can do with the grid. Right now we have Snap to Grid off. If I just go over here and then let go of my mouse, now whatever we create is going to snap to this grid right here. If I create a rectangle, for example, and I do a click and drag, notice that as I drag my rectangle, the path, it's snapping to my grid. If I select P for the pen tool and then hold the Command or the Control key down to bring the direct selection tool, I can select, for example, these two anchor points, and then if I move them, notice that they are snapping to my grid. I can also select one of these anchor points and snap it anywhere on the grid, individually, and so on. So what else can we do with the grid? If I was to deselect the Snap to Grid, now let me create another rectangle. As you can see, if I do a click and drag, nothing is going to snap to the grids. If I hold the letter A and move these two anchor points, notice that they do not snap to our grid. Next, we're going to talk about how to change the units of this grid right here. Our grid is set up to inches. So to change our units, what we have to do, we have to go to View, and I'm going to bring the rulers. The shortcut to the ruler is the Command R or the Apple R on a Mac and the Control R on a PC. The rulers are going to be on the top and on the left hand side of our canvas. Now, if you go to either side and you move your cursor on top of the ruler and you hold your right mouse button, you can change the units on the fly. So if I want to go to centimeters, I let go, and now our ruler is set to centimeters. Now this does not mean that our grid is set to centimeters. So what we have to do is we have to go to our preferences. Our preferences are right here on the option bar, or on a Mac we would go to the Illustrator name, Preferences, and under Guides and Grid, we can change the grid line every to whatever we want. So for example, if I select 1 centimeter and let me put subdivisions of 0 and I hit OK, now you will notice that our grid is set to every 1 centimeter. You will also notice that the color of the grid fades outside of the canvas. We can also change the color by going back to our preferences, and under Guides and Grid, I can change the color of my grid. If I click right here, I can select another color, close the colors, hit OK, and there you have it. And this is how we use the grid.